Normally when I talk to people, they usually tell me how the topic of finances and money gives them headaches. It is too complicated, too mathematical. So today I'm here to simplify making wealth, how you can be able to make wealth, and how you can be able to grow your wealth, and how you can be able to be better off in a way that you'll be able to understand in simple, clear, concise English, or to put it worse, this is a dummy edition of how to become wealthy. So the first thing is keep money. Don't give it off. That is the simplest thing that you can ever do to be able to grow your wealth. Yes, keep money. You receive 100,000. You do not just pay all your bills, the whole 100,000. You remain with nothing at the end of the day. That is the first simplest rule for any person to understand. The more money goes away from you, the more you will become poorer. That is the simplest explanation of wealth creation. So ensure that you do not just pay all your bills, pay all your expenses, give away money to other people, friends, family, and other things, and remain with nothing. The more you keep, the more you're likely to become wealthy, because wealth is not about how much you pay, it's about how much you have. So the more you give, the less you have. So that is the first basic rule. Of course, the other basic rule is if you're going to give it away, at least ensure that you give it away in a way that it will come back to you, and where possible, it comes back to you with a surplus. That is what we call a profit, a return on investment. Yes, make money come back to you in a way that is going to bring a surplus. So send money. Think about money like a dog. Send it away so that when it comes with other dogs. Simple version. Make sure your money is working hard to bring other money to you, because if you're going to invest or give money in an investment that makes sense to you, simple things, something that makes sense to you. If it doesn't make sense to you, don't invest. That is just risking your money. Put your money in an avenue that you understand that is going to allow you take your money and get more money in surplus. And the more you get back as a percentage of what you've given, the more you become wealthy. So if you're going to get only from 100,000, if you're going to get 1,000 only, that is 1% return. If you're going to get 1,000 in a whole year, that is 1% return. Ensure that when you give your money, it brings back more money as a percentage of what you've given. So if you're going to get 10,000 and you give 100,000 at the end of the year, you will have made 10% above your income. So your wealth, your overall wealth will grow by 10%, or 1 cent for every 10 cents you gave away towards an investment. Simple. That is how the other thing that you do to be able to grow your wealth. Ensure that it brings money back. If you're going to lend money to your friends who are not going to pay you back any interest, in fact they're going to take it as a charity case from you, as a donation from you, then that is not investing. That is simply giving your money away. Simply means you are bound to make losses if you do that, because it's not investing, it doesn't make sense, and you're going to give your money away. The next thing is keep some money for a rainy day. Simple things. Things happen. A medical expense can come that you never expected. You could suddenly have your roof falling and you need to repair it. You could have to pay for some expense that you never planned for. We all know this happens. The basic rule of wealth creation is do not become desperate at any moment in your finances, because desperate people make desperate decisions. So you are found in a place where you do not have money to be able to meet this urgent need, as urgent as the roof is leaking and your house is becoming wet, your things are becoming moldy. That is an emergency that you have to take care at the earliest possible. And when you are that desperate, you might be forced to take yourself to a loan shark, take money that you'll have to pay a lot more money in interest, therefore decreasing your overall well-being, your overall financial well-being. And when I talk about a cash surplus, I'm not saying you have a lot of land, because we need to look at it as some money that you can be able to pay, liquidate as quickly. So this is money that you have either put aside in a bank account, either you've put aside in a savings account, either you have put in some kind of money market that can be able to liquidate easily. If something cannot be liquidated into liquid cash within 3 days, then that is not what we are talking about stashing cash. So it is something that you have to liquidate within 3 days, and where possible without any costs to you. So that is not money that you're going to give a bank for a whole month in a fixed deposit account. That is not what we are talking about. We're talking about money that you can be able to liquidate quickly. It could be in form of shares, or those shares also decrease or increase in value. So the money that you have stashed away in shares can go up or down, which is a little bit risky. If your appetite for risk is much more averse, then don't do that. You could be able to put it in a money market fund, so that this money, as much as it is convertible quickly within a short period of time, it is also increasing some interest. That's what makes the difference between a strategic investor to a normal Tom, Dick, and Harry. So ensure that you're strategic. You have this stash, but you're also making some money from this stash that you can be able to convert quickly to meet your urgent need. That is what I am talking about. So ensure that you have some money so that you do not become desperate. Ensure you have some money so that you can be able to meet an urgent need, and ensure that your money is making a little bit of money. It doesn't have to be much, but it is something that is above the prevailing inflation rate. And when I talk about stashing some money aside, how much do we talk about? It could be as simple as 3 months of expenses. All your expenses that you pay in a month, then times 3. That is the simplest amount that you can be able to stash away, to be able to become a little bit more safe in case this urgent need is a lot more severe. You could be able to look at 6 months of expenses in form of cash per month for 6 months. So basically, if something happens, you can be able to secure yourself. If you lose a job, you can only be able to acquire another job within 6 months. These 6 months of expenses can be able to be paid from the money that you have. You do not have to change or alter your lifestyle, change schools, and do all these things, because you have the 6 months that is going to take you during this rough patch, this difficult patch, this patch of life that you had never anticipated. So stash away some cash. Do not be like the animal that is surprised when winter comes. You knew winter would come eventually, but you never stashed away food. Even winter animals make a little bit of sense. If it is polar bears, they eat too much, they eat a lot of food, they grow a lot of fat and sleep through winter. If it is things to do with like hair, like the hairs in the winter places, they stash away food, nuts, they stash away berries, they stash away food in holes strategically, so when there is nothing to gather out in the field, they can be able to get something that they had buried, a place, and be able to feed themselves. Be strategic. If animals can be this bright, you might as well apply some of this brightness. Of course, the other thing is, try to have the money that is coming into your pocket come from 2 sources. Why am I saying that it should come from 2 sources? This is because you run a very big risk if all the money that you make is from one source. If the money that you make is from employment, if, God forbid, your employer ceases to exist, then your income ceases to exist. If, God forbid, your business does not make the money that gives you money in your pocket, then you are bound to be under pressure. So ensure that you have at least 2 or more sources of income, and ensure that at any given time you do not have more than 50% of the income that is coming from one source. So how do you go about it? This is where we talk about passive income. This is where we talk about side income. What is passive income? Something that generates money to your pocket without you having to think every day, without you having to do anything every day, without you having to sacrifice your time. This is the best form of income. It could be in the sense of in the form of dividends. You buy shares, they pay you dividends every other period, maybe every 6 months or every year. they give you a percentage of what you have already invested. So this is dividend income. You could look at government bonds which pay interest maybe every 6 months. So every 6 months you have some money that is coming, money that you put aside that is being used, some money essentially giving you some additional level of income that ensures that when this doesn't work, your employment income or your business income doesn't work, this is able to take you a little bit longer. Again, we talked about desperation, desperate times, desperate decision, terrible financing. So ensure that you do not get to a level where you are over dependent on one source of income. What is the other passive income source that you can be able to pursue? You could be able to invest money in a circle and get some dividends at the end of the year. You could be able to invest in rental income, rentals, and then receive rental every single month, but ensure that there's some money that is coming and it is a percentage of return that makes sense to you. Do not invest in something that is going to give you 1% every year, because 1% will be a lot less than the prevailing inflation rate. So you had rather do something else and invest in that. Again, ensure it is money that is coming in. So when you have land, in as much as you may grow your overall wealth, you may not grow the cash flow. These are cash flow generating investments. These are the ones that are going to be able to diversify your income. So don't invest in just vacant land that is left there and assume to appreciate in value, because this appreciation does not translate to your pocket of your expenses every single month. So ensure there's several pockets of money, several sources of money coming to your pocket. If it is side things, look at the talents that you have, look at the time that you have, look at the opportunities you have by having this job. What additional opportunities do you have? If you drive for long distance, maybe you could start transporting things from one location to the other, make a bit of side income. Maybe you could be able to offer some transport services to these locations, because either way you're still traveling. If you are paying fare for a longer distance and you have neighbors who may desire to be able to go to work that is near your workplace, maybe they could contribute in fuel. It may not bring you some money, but it will drive down your costs. Always think about whatever amount of money you can be able to save, whatever amount of money you can be able to bring back to your pocket, and whatever thing you can be able to do to keep money from flowing out of your pocket too quickly. So those are the easiest things that you can be able to do. The other simple thing that is in regards to wealth creation is to take time. You may go somewhere, get excited about a shoe. You may go somewhere, be excited about a shirt. You may go somewhere, be excited about a purchase, about a car, and you become overwhelmed and excited. Excitement and happiness makes you overvalue whatever you might be able to invest in, making you pay for something a lot more money. If you're overexcited about a car, you're more likely to bargain less on the value of that car, and you're more likely to pay more. It is good to have a clear mind. So take time. You're not rushed. Anything that needs that you pay for it, take time, take time, take time, and take time. You might realize at the end of 2 days that you do not really need that thing that was overexciting you. Once you have settled and your emotions are in check, you might realize it is never that serious. Sometimes it also works the other way, where you are fearful. When you are fearful, you may buy something thinking that is going to give you this security, only to realize that your fears were sort of comical, were over-exaggerated. So when you are fearful, or when you are happy, when you are sad, when you are moody, your investment or your spending plans change drastically, and they might affect your financial growth. So ensure, just like you are sober when you are studying for your exams, you are also sober with your money. Let money not leave your pocket in your excitement. I always talk to several individuals and hear about how they go their finances. And one thing that is always problematic about men, and let me just give an example of men. When they're excited, when they're hanging out with friends and they're partying and they're taking drinks, they sort of make big plans. They sort of give away more money. They sort of try to entertain the table of men and spend a lot more money than they would otherwise think about. So if that is also something that affects you as a person. Maybe it is time you also look at physical controls. You do not have to have your credit card with you every time you go to party. You can just have a fixed amount of money that is going to entertain you for the night. Anything more than that, you go home. You might also have to keep certain if it is M-Pesa and you're able to access your phone and borrow money, maybe it's time you cancel some of those loan apps that you can be able to access money quickly, especially for entertainment. These are just physical restrictions that may sound obvious to a disciplined person, but may be very important to a person who has no control when they are excited and when they are hanging out with friends, and could be able to help them in their path towards financial growth. I hope that you are learning, you're growing, and becoming better. Remember, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below. Thank you. My name is George Kingori, your online finance guy.